I never thought an Uber ride would be the thing that destroyed my entire relationship. If my car hadn't broken down that night, I might still be completely clueless about what was happening behind my back. But before I explain what happened, I need to give a little bit of background. I'm 27 years old, and until recently, I had been in a relationship with my girlfriend, Emily, for almost 3 years. We met through mutual friends at a small birthday party. She was funny, confident, and honestly the kind of person that could talk to anyone in a room. Within a few months, we started dating, and things moved pretty quickly after that. After about a year together, we decided to move into an apartment together. It wasn't anything fancy, just a small place in a decent neighborhood, but it was ours. For the first 2 years, everything felt almost perfect. We rarely argued. We had similar routines. Weekdays were mostly work and relaxing at home. Weekends we'd go out with friends or watch movies together. At one point, we even started talking about the future. Marriage, a bigger apartment, maybe even moving to another city someday. Looking back now, that's probably the part that hurts the most, because I truly believed we were building something real. But about a month ago, things started changing. At first, it was subtle. Emily began staying late at work more often. She told me her company had started a big project and everyone had to work overtime. That seemed completely reasonable. Lots of people go through busy work periods. So at the beginning, I didn't question it at all. But then the late nights became more frequent. At first, it was maybe once or twice a week. Then it became almost every night. She'd text me around 7 or 8 p.m. saying she had to stay longer at the office. Most nights, she didn't come home until midnight. I remember one night asking her if everything was okay. She seemed tired all the time. Her answer was always the same: just work stress. I wanted to be supportive, so I tried not to complain about it. But after a couple weeks, something started feeling off. The first thing I noticed was how distant she had become. Before, we used to text each other throughout the day. Just small things like memes, random thoughts, or asking what we should eat for dinner. But suddenly those conversations stopped. Her replies became short. Sometimes she wouldn't answer for hours. And when she did respond, it felt like she was rushing. Then there were the phone calls. She used to answer my calls almost immediately. But now, after 9 p.m., she rarely picked up. If I called, she'd text back saying she was in a meeting or busy with coworkers. Again, I tried to believe her. But there was another thing that bothered me. Whenever she came home late at night, she smelled like perfume. Not her perfume. Something stronger. Something I had never smelled before. The first time I mentioned it, she laughed and said one of her coworkers wore a strong perfume and it probably rubbed off on her clothes. That explanation sounded reasonable, so I ignored the feeling in my stomach telling me something wasn't right. But the weird behavior kept building. She started guarding her phone more. She'd take it with her everywhere, even to the bathroom. If I walked into the room while she was texting, she'd immediately lock the screen. That was probably the first moment I really started wondering if something was going on. But even then, I convinced myself I was just being paranoid. After all, we had been together for 3 years. I trusted her, or at least I thought I did. Then one random night changed everything. I was leaving work when my car suddenly refused to start. I tried everything, turning the key again, checking the battery. Nothing worked. After about 10 minutes of trying, I gave up and ordered an Uber. The driver arrived about 5 minutes later. He seemed like a friendly guy in his mid-30s, the type of person who enjoys chatting during rides. Normally, I prefer quiet rides, but that night, I didn't mind talking. We started discussing random things: traffic, the weather, work stress. Eventually, he asked where I lived. When I told him the name of my apartment complex, he laughed. He said he drives people there all the time. Then he casually mentioned something that caught my attention. He said there's a girl he drives to that same apartment complex almost every night around midnight. At first, I didn't think much about it. Lots of people live in that building. But then he started describing her. Blonde hair, about 5'6", early 20s. My heart started beating faster, because Emily matched that description almost perfectly. Still, I didn't want to jump to conclusions. So I casually asked him where he usually picks her up. And when he answered, my stomach dropped. He said he picks her up from a bar downtown. Not an office building. Not a company headquarters. A bar. I asked him which bar. When he said the name, I knew exactly where it was. And it definitely wasn't anywhere near Emily's workplace. I remember sitting there in silence for the rest of the ride. Part of me kept trying to come up with logical explanations. Maybe it was just someone who looked like her. Maybe it was a coincidence. But deep down, I already knew something was wrong. The next night, I decided to find out the truth. Emily texted me around 8 p.m. saying she had another late meeting. That message felt almost scripted at that point. Instead of staying home like usual, I grabbed my keys and drove downtown. I parked across the street from the bar the Uber driver mentioned. Then I waited. At first I felt ridiculous, like I was some paranoid boyfriend spying on his girlfriend. Almost 2 hours passed. I was about to leave. Then around 11:30 p.m., I saw her. Emily walked out of the bar. And she wasn't alone. She was holding hands with another guy. For a moment, everything around me felt quiet, like the world had just paused. I sat there in my car staring at them. They looked comfortable together. Too comfortable. Like this wasn't the first time. That's when something inside me snapped. I got out of the car and walked straight toward them. The moment Emily saw me, her entire face went pale. The guy next to her looked confused at first. Then he quickly stepped back. Emily immediately started talking. She said it wasn't what it looked like. She said he was just a coworker. But then something unexpected happened. The bartender standing behind them looked confused. He said, "Wait, aren't you two dating?" That sentence completely destroyed whatever lie she was about to tell. Emily froze. The other guy didn't say a word. She started apologizing almost instantly, saying it was a mistake, saying she didn't mean for things to happen this way. But the thing that hurt the most was when I asked her who the guy actually was. Because I recognized him. He looked familiar. And then I realized why. He was the same guy she told me not to worry about last year. The just a friend guy. The one she said was like a brother to her. In that moment, I didn't feel angry. I just felt empty. 3 years together. And this is how it ended. I didn't yell. I didn't argue. I just turned around and walked away. The next week, I packed my things and moved out of the apartment. Emily tried texting me several times after that, apologizing, saying she made a mistake. But honestly, the trust was completely gone. I blocked her number, blocked her on social media, and I haven't spoken to her since. Sometimes I still think about how everything happened, how close I came to never finding out. If my car hadn't broken down that night, if I hadn't ordered that Uber, if that driver hadn't casually mentioned the girl he picks up every night, I might still believe she was just working late. And honestly, that thought scares me more than anything.